Hello, everybody. It's your baby boomer, Kitty Lane, from the Peninsula in Virginia. And welcome to Create and Relate. I know you recognize my very sleek and unique uniform, along with all the accessories. Yes, all the bells and whistles, heart monitor, nurse caller, TV control, and this very luxurious single-size hospital bed. Yep, that's where I am. Needless to say, this is not the first video I've recorded for this. The first one, I had my phone propped up against the water cup that they bought me, or should I say the water pitcher, thinking that there was weight enough in it to hold the phone, and then it decided to go splat all over the floor. So then I leaned it on my coconut oil, because that's all I have is the phone. I don't have all the other stuff. Plus, I'm in the hospital, right? And of course, it decided it wanted to tumble for ya. I'll tumble for ya. So it did that, and everything went splat and kaplooey. So here I am making another video. What am I doing up at 2:38 in the morning? What do? I crochet. Yes, I do. First and foremost, I have to send out a very special.
May I help you?
Excuse me. Yes, I accidentally made a mess.
You made a mess?
I did.
Oh, okay. So we'll be there.
Okay, I spilled something on the floor. I didn't make a personal mess.
Oh, okay. So what are we here?
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Bless her heart. It sounded like I disheartened her when I said I made a mess, and then I thought about it. Oh, she think I boo-booed on myself. No. No, I knocked water and coconut oil on the floor. Sorry. And it's where, because of this yellow band, see if you can see that, it says fall risk. They have an alarm on my bed. So I can't get up out of bed unless they come take the alarm off, or I'll set the alarm off. Hold on, be back. Y'all, I really made a mess. I guess the water thought it was locked up too, because it was trying to get out the door. And I mean, like, I am really sitting in the middle of the room in this bed. I forgot where I was in telling you what's going on, but I think I was, I don't know. Anyway, I had a colonoscopy Monday morning, which means I had to start preparing for this on Saturday. So I had my last decent meal on Friday. And then I had to eat light on Saturday and all liquids on Sunday. Got here Monday morning. We got here like super early. And at the time that I was supposed to arrive for registration, I was actually being wheeled to the back for my procedure. So I was grateful about that. I'm thinking, yay, we gonna go head on and get it done, and I'm gonna get to go home. No. That ain't not what happened. Whew. I came back in the room, and when I was coming out from under the anesthesia, my daughter was signing the discharge papers, and I was nauseated. I don't get nauseated very often, and I definitely don't vomit very often. So when I had the urge to do so, but nothing was coming out because I hadn't had anything to eat. It was just air and bubbles. But tiny bubbles. But yeah. Then when I got myself together and laid back down on the bed, uh, started having chest pains. Of course, chest pains in anybody is a concern, but especially if you have a heart condition and you have a pacemaker defibrillator and you just came out from under anesthesia with all of that going on, it's a concern. And I felt like be back. Okay, I'm gonna have a lot going on for the next few minutes because it wound up being a bigger mess than I thought. They had to get environmental services. Okay, I thought there was somebody knocking at the door. It was me in my shaky bed. Shake it fast. Watch yourself. Shake it fast. Okay, but anyway, long story short, after the discharge papers had been signed, I was immediately shipped to ER. Don't really remember that trip. And I do remember getting there and having to use the bathroom. And the pain just being excruciating. I remember my little fighter. She jumped up when the doctor said, "Well, we're gonna give you a shot of fentanyl." And my daughter said, "What? You gonna give her what?" He said, "We'll give you a shot of fentanyl to help relieve the pain." My daughter said, "You don't have anything else other than fentanyl." She doesn't do narcotics well. And she's absolutely right. She is absolutely right. I don't do narcotics well. The only one that I have been able to somewhat tolerate is morphine. And that's because when you go to the hospital unresponsive and they know that you are a heart patient, that's the first thing they push. So, having had heart issues since the year 2000, known heart issues since the year 2000, I haven't become accustomed to it because it does something crazy to me, but it doesn't do like tramadol and diluted, and I don't know what fentanyl does. Don't want to know what it does. I've seen what it does to even police officers who mishandle it. I'm not trying to be there. No. Yeah, I've heard what it can do, and I even told my daughter. I said, that lots of times there's a big difference between the street drug and the approved medication itself. And she goes, "Yeah, I know." But she was not having it. Oh, that was too cute to me. That made my heart sing. It did. It did. It made my heart sing. But yeah, I didn't get the fentanyl. I didn't even get the morphine, and I'm somewhat glad because one of the reasons I don't like taking pain pills. Period. And the reason I don't is because I feel like they give you a false sense of security. They make you think that everything is okay, and lots of times you go out here and you hurt yourself worse because you're not feeling the pain that was giving you an indication that something was wrong to begin with. So, not really big on. Yeah, I'm not really big on pain medications anyway. So, long story short, The doctor who was seeing me came in, and Dr. Cronin, he comes in and he says, well, I really want to do this test, this test, this test, this test, and this test. But if we get you up and walking around and you feel better, I'll let you go home. Well, those of you who know me, those of you who don't but will, and you'll get to know that I laugh a lot. I cry a lot, I laugh a lot, I talk a lot. Um, sorry, but I went for that walk, and it was painful. And even though the nurse wanted to walk more, when I got winded, I let her know it. I said, look, my heart's starting to race. And it's getting kind of difficult for me to breathe. We go back to the room. Well, we had been laughing and joking the whole while. So as I get on the bed, someone said something funny, and I stopped to laugh. And everybody thought that I was having an episode. No, I wasn't. I was laughing. When they figured this out, everybody laxed. So waited until the laughter moment was over, and I let the nurse know my chest is really hurting now. But I think because of the laughing, I don't know what happened, but anyway, that never got to the doctor. And here again, I'm signing discharge papers, and it's time to go. So when the doctor came in the room to talk to me, I'm like, yeah, I went for the walk, but he said something like, I see you had an easy stroll. I'm like, it might have been an easy stroll while I was out there, but not when I got back in the room. And he says, you still having pain? And I said, yeah, I am. I told her that. So again, he asked me what it felt like, what the number was. And he said to me, he did give me an option. He says, I would like for you to stay. I would like to at least mark things off the list that aren't happening, even if we don't come to a conclusion. And I said, I understand that. I already signed discharge papers. I don't foresee this getting any better. It seems that if I just get somewhere and sit it down, then it'll get better. And he says, are you sure? And I said, yes, sir. So that's what we stuck with. And I went home. And being that I hadn't eaten in, at this point, 3 days, you may as well say, my daughter had made some spaghetti. She made it Saturday night. Because what I had for dinner Saturday night was spaghetti noodles with no sauce and cheese bread. That's all the sister had to eat. Tuna fish earlier. No. None of that. No soup. No. I had gelatin. I had chicken broth. I had vegetable broth. And I had noodles and cheese bread. You see all of me sitting here. Does it look like I was satisfied to the least? At any rate, my daughter saved me some spaghetti with spaghetti sauce. And I had spaghetti with spaghetti sauce when I got home. Didn't make me feel any better or worse. I was already not feeling good. So I had mentioned while I was in the hospital things that I could taste. And I've mentioned the porterhouse steak with the baked potato and the garden salad with ranch dressing or French dressing. Either one would have been great. Or blue cheese dressing. Either one would have been great. I mentioned the liver and onions with gravy over rice with spinach and cornbread. Oh my God. I mentioned pig feet with potato salad and collard greens and spoon bread with a tall glass of iced tea. Yes, Father, I hear it all. Can almost taste it. And then I told about this big chunk of broccoli and cheese that I was about to bite into as I was drifting off to sleep. Yes. And I also told her about them grits and them shrimps with the sauce over the eggs and cheese with the grits all mixed up with a side order of fried apples. My daughter went in there and cooked them there squimps and grits. Yes, she did. With the side order of apples. And when she brought me my plate, all I could eat was about a third of it. I was hurting so bad. And my whole pelvic area felt like it was preparing to give birth. Felt like every bone down there was separating. And I knew something was wrong. And my daughter came in the room, and if you don't know me, the telltale signs with me that something's wrong, the eyes get either really, really, really dark or they get extremely light. Let me see if I can show you my eye color. It's like a medium soft brown, not hazel, just like a real pretty brown. But when I get angry, they turn black. When I'm really happy, they get lighter. But when I'm sick, they almost get red or dark, really dark. And my cheeks will turn red. My nose will turn red. And my forehead will turn red. So my daughter comes in the room and she looks at me and she says, Mama, what's wrong? And without hesitation, not trying to, figure anything out, I said, I need to go back to the emergency room. So we got our things together and we made our way back here to Riverside Hospital in Newport News. Excuse me. And I found out that I was actively having a heart attack. Scared. Not happy. But I'm glad I had the presence of mind to say that I needed to come back. Fortunately, the doctor who was treating me, even though he had just gone home, one of the doctors here on duty was one of the doctors who assessed me the last time I was here in April. So she knew about my heart condition and she knew how to handle me from there. And she was like, no, we need to get her a room. She's not going back home. We need to run this test. We need to run that test. Regardless of whether we can get it done today or not, she's still staying overnight. It was like, yes, Chief. Okay, Chief. Whatever you say, Chief. But no, I didn't argue with them. I knew they were right. So I had the CAT scan of my lungs done with dye and my kidneys, and everything was pristine. They were pristine. They went into my heart to give me the heart cath, and the doctor said, your heart looks good. There's no damage done. But I know the blood work indicates, and lots of times that means that we caught it before damage could be done. Like, great. T-Rex, yay. But came up to the room, got me something to eat, and then I've had one meal. Something here. Sister hungry. So my nurse graciously, bless her heart, bought me the snacks, the graham crackers with, and I dropped it. And I can't get up and get it. But the never heard of before peanut butter. And the reason I can't get up and get it is because that says fall risk, the yellow one. This one is allergy alert, and this one is fall risk. And because of that fall risk, there is an alarm on the bed that if I step out of this bed, it will go off. Not the alarm you hear in the back. That's saying that some of my vitals are supposed to be taken. But I don't like that blood pressure cup just hanging on me. And yeah, it's bad enough I got to be attached to that. And I got 2 IVs. Not one, but 2. So nice I had to do it twice. And then not your typical IVs. It's the ultrasound IVs. So they had to go deep. Yeah. I do nothing typical. I am very atypical. But before I go any further, and realizing this is the 3rd video that I've had to start, I have to do something that I should have done in the very, very beginning, and that's to send out a special shout and a special thank you to Miss Lisa Lark of Illinois, Central Illinois. But her page is Happy to Hook Creations. I absolutely love her. I ran across her one evening and decided to binge her. And I just got so much joy, whether it was a day of crocheting or a day of opening mail or just a day of conversation. It's like to go through a journey with someone who's on your page. It was like looking at myself a little bit, because she didn't bring anybody to the table but herself. It's not like she was trying to be like somebody else, or it was just her own special thing. And there are several out there that I find to be that way, like Crystal from Bag a Day and Kiara. I can't remember the name of her page, but I know that she's going through something medically, and I think those are the ones that I'm drawn to more than anybody, because they understand or you can understand them a little better, or the places that they're coming from. And I can't leave out the other ones who have kind of pushed me along. Like in the very beginning, it was Mikey from the Crochet Crowd. He was the first. When I accidentally ran across his page, I had joined a crochet group on Facebook, and someone sent me a link to his page. He had a crochet along coming up, and this was back in, I believe, 2015, 2016, but the colors I chose were horrendous, and it really made the blanket what we all call an ugly blanket. It was beautiful the way everybody else did it, but me having to be different and unusual, I went and chose some really murky, ugly colors. I did. I chose like mint green, super bright orange. Then it was like a dark green, a beige, a medium brown, there was some other colors, but it was a dark blue, a navy blue. Yeah, I think it was like 7 colors total. But the colors, maybe if I had, maybe if I had switched them around, they would have looked a little better or something. It was not pretty. But I kept up with and completed the crochet along. It was the first time I had ever done that, and I enjoyed Mikey's way of teaching. Um, excuse me. I'm sorry. Maybe I'll find a way to try to edit that out. Y'all, I'm so sorry about that. I have these coughing spells, and sometimes they cause like blackouts or even passing out. But I get really, really lightheaded when they happen, and I'm not really coughing that hard. I understood it before when I was coughing hard, but I'm really not understanding it now that I'm really not coughing that hard. But at any rate, um, I appreciate Mikey um, and his teaching abilities, his skills. And then I got into wanting to learn Tunisian crochet, so I typed in Tunisian crochet, and Tony from T.O. excuse me, Tony from T.O. Yarn Creations popped up, and it's not that I didn't know anything about Tunisian crochet. I did. It's just that when I started learning it, I want to say 13, 14 years old, maybe a little younger. By the way, I started crocheting when I was 5. I started January 5th of 1969. I had just turned 5 years old, and the babysitter said that I couldn't sit still. Well, I got ADHD. What you think? I'm not sitting still. So she had something that was going to occupy my mind. And she put a crochet hook and some green and white yarn in my hand. And the first thing she had me to make was a poncho. And then she had me to make a little tam. And all of it was centered around granny squares. I think I made, I forgot how many squares I made. I think it was 12 squares for the poncho. I've been short all my life, okay? I have. Until I was 11 years old. Then I was 5 feet 4 inches tall. I was taller than any female in my family. And I was proud of that. And I still am proud of that. I am. Even though I shrunk an inch. I'm 5'3" now. But when I was 11 and 12 years old, I was the tallest female in the family. And I stayed the tallest female in the family until I had children. And then they grew up to be taller than me. But yes, Tony's teaching, especially with Tunisian crochet, was so comforting. And then my therapist, yes, I see a therapist. If you knew my life, you would know why. My therapist talked to me about the possibility of me doing tutorials and teaching to crochet. And I'm like, I can't do that. Nah, it's not my forte. then it sparked an interest, and I started looking at more crochet materials, and I was like, I would have done this way. Oh, I would have done this that way. There are a couple who just show the skill, don't say a word. All you got is music playing in the background, and you're watching them crochet. And I pick up from those. I do. I pick up from those very easily, but not everybody does. So I'm like, even if you take the time to explain it to them and let them know, where you got it from, um, that in itself would be amazing. But it started me to doing research. It started me to looking at um, the crochet world, looking into the crochet world, and what it took to have a YouTube channel. And I said, you know what? When January gets here, I'm gonna start a YouTube channel. And January came, and January went, and I said, you know what? I'm still doing research, which it really was. Um, middle of February, I'm starting me a page. Middle of February came and went. So I'm gonna do this around the middle of March. That's what I'm gonna do. I focused January on making the first temperature blanket. I got it made and got it out. I started the second temperature blanket, got it all the way up. And somebody should kick my butt for this. The second temperature blanket is so close to finish. I guarantee you less than 1,000 stitches will get it done. I have 2 rows to put across the top because the top of each one, I incorporated their names. I crocheted their names in. And then I just need to go around it in the border. 2 times round, single crochet is all I'm doing. And I'm holding on, I'm yet holding on. Don't know why, but I am. And I'm sure my nephew would love to get his blanket. And then on top of that, I started my grandson's temperature blanket. Yes, I did. Finished the first 4 months of his. So that panel is done. It's only 3 panels. They're in 4-month increments. Gotta go. Be back. Sorry about that. It was time for vitals. And when I say I made a mess, I made a mess. I propped my phone up against my pitcher of water, thinking it was heavy enough to hold the phone. And of course it wasn't. So when it hit the floor, of course I didn't have any choice but to leave it down there because of my fall risk bracelet. They have an alarm on the bed. So if I try to get off the bed, the alarm goes off and they come running. So I left it down there. I figured, it was close to time for the vitals. I just kind of leave it down there. Well, I propped the phone up against my coconut oil. My coconut oil said almost immediately, ain't having it. Not today. So it ended up on the floor as well. Fortunately, it was covered, so I didn't have that to worry about. Back to my thank yous. Yeah, Tony from TL Yarn Crafts had this like really, really soothing tone, and she was really, really patient, and it was like so cool. So I basically at that point was just listening to Tony and Mikey and considering, my own page. And I say procrastinating, but I know what I was doing. I was really afraid to just jump out there. I might have to go. This might be my coffee. Be back. I got my coffee. Ooh, I got my coffee. I got my coffee. I got my coffee. They were amazed when I got in my room, when I started setting my room up, because I didn't have to ask for any vanity items. I have I'm looking for the bag to show y'all, right? My phone is propped up against the bag. I know it's heavy enough to hold the phone up. Because in my bag I have deodorant, not one container, two, just in case. And even though they took them downstairs, I had my razors in case I need them. And yes, I need them, but it is what it is. Hopefully I'll be going home later on today anyway. And I also had my coconut oil. I got my brush. I got a change of clothes, complete brown underwear and nightshirt, which I use as lounge dress because I'm short. And short dresses on other people are regular length dresses on me. It's okay though. It's okay. I got my scrunchie. I got my body wash. I got my hand wash. I got my very special spray. I said coconut oil, so I don't have lotion. But I got my essential oils. I have finger clips, tweezers, fingernail file. Because I try not to clip my nails anymore. I try to file them down. I'm so fascinated by my nails. Not adore them or anything, but the fascination comes in. I was a nail biter all my life. All my life. And I was born in 1963. So from the point of being able to bite a nail, I had been biting my nails. Former thumb sucker, went from there to biting nails. And I left my second husband in 2009. I told him to come pick up his van from in front of my mama's house in 2009, August 15th, day after his birthday. And that was the same day I left him, his van, and all of my belongings behind. Sure did. That was the same day I left the habit of biting my fingernails behind. That was a happy break. So proud of myself for that. I am really proud of myself for that one. I'm not saying that I haven't made any mistakes since then, because I have. But that one was one that I honestly feel if I'd stayed in it any longer, it would have been so much more detrimental to my health. I, at the time, was taking 150 milligrams of Zoloft. It's an antidepressant. I don't particularly care for antidepressants. Even though I'm finding myself taking one now, I'm in a better place, better space, and understand what I'm taking it for and the purpose of it. Took time to read up on it and talk about it before I consent it to it. But at any rate, I don't like antidepressants, the ones that I was on, because they tend to make you, or assist you in making bad decisions. And if I lived with this man for a year and couldn't get along with him for a year, I don't know what made the fact that he said, when I asked him, why do you want to marry me? And he said, because I can't imagine living without you. Something in me said, oh, that's the perfect thing to say. And I went and said I do that same day, and I really didn't. I didn't. I knew it was wrong when the man was reading the marriage vows. I knew that was not the place for me to be. It was so different than my first one. The first one, I think he was having second thoughts. But I felt like I was where I was supposed to be. I didn't like what we were wearing. He had on jeans and a t-shirt. I had just gotten off work from Burger King, so I had on one of the old-fashioned Burger King uniforms at that. the maroon pants with the maroon top that buttoned down the front. They had the almost butterfly collar to it with the different color flowers and stuff. Yeah, that's what I had to wear. Jesus. Jesus, be a fix. Father. But at least I felt like I was supposed to be there, that one. Um, and then after 17 years, I realized I wasn't supposed to be there. Nah. But it is what it is. And no, I'm not married now. But I'm married to me. I love me. And I make me happy. Just like drinking this second huge cup of coffee. Mm, 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 mm. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So what I'm gonna do? I'm put it in this other cup that I had. Yes, I am. So it won't be so hot on my hand. And I go sip, 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 sip. Sip, sip. That one got a little hot. Ooh, okay. So I'm back. Yes. So what I am working on right now, I told you about the blanket for my nephew and the blanket for my grandson. There is also a panel blanket. I was looking at Juan the Yarn Addict one evening and was binging him during that time too. But he was making a I forgot what it was he was making, but he had rolled his own cakes and he used the term without rhyme or reason. And whatever the project was, it was without rhyme or reason. And I just thought it was so cool. So I took that idea, and even though I could not make cakes as big as his, instead of making one gigantic piece, I made smaller panels. And the piece that I'm looking at is going to be, I think it's 24 panels. And I have more than half of those panels done. I had to really put it aside for a while because it's not for anything in particular. At the time, I had this major sale going on. Yes, I do crochet and sell my work. I don't have a store currently. It's basically knowing me on Instagram and Facebook or word of mouth, knowing someone that I know. I'm getting there. Let me tell you a little bit about me. That since I have time, I have nothing but time on my hands. I was taken out of work in October of 2020 by my doctor and my family. I was diagnosed with myocardial infarction, which is a heart attack, in 2000. And again, I had heart issues in 2011. I was in congestive heart failure. Then in 2013, I was diagnosed with HOCM, hypertrophic obstructive cardiomyopathy. And that was when my life changed because right after finding out that I had HOCM, I had an implant. I had my pacemaker defibrillator. That was when I knew everything was serious. It was really, really, really serious. And started making some lifestyle changes, but everything was going in the wrong direction. Oh, everything was going in the wrong direction. I kept trying to lose weight and trying to lose weight and trying to lose weight. And at the time, I was like probably in the mid twos. And it's like every time I would get on the scale in the beginning of my lose weight quest, I would get on the scale, and I was only getting on the scale once a week, ignoring my doctors. Well, I'm supposed to be weighing myself every single day. I'm gonna do it my way. I'm gonna get on the scale once a week. So it's like at the end of a week, there was either no weight loss or it was something like a pound. You know, it was never anything significant. And then after months and months of trying, like 4, 5, 6 months, then maybe it was 10 pounds. And I know that that is average weight loss for some people, but where it's not average for me is not only the extent that I had gone to, um, it was knowing the necessity of having that weight off of me. It was for my heart. It was for me. It was for life. It was for my kids. It was for, my family, my loved ones, and my friends and my family. It was for all of us. It was for a better quality of life. But it's not that I wasn't taking it seriously. It's that it's it seriously wasn't taking me. Yeah, I started having some serious issues with the way things were turning out because they weren't turning out the way that I felt like they should be. I'm looking for yarn. I'm trying to decide what color I'm going to go with next. So that's why I'm looking around like I'm half crazy, but I'm not. I think I'll do this one next. Okay. Okay. Ready to rock and roll. Yeah, we are. Here we go. Ready to rock and roll. Here we are. Here we. Okay, that's enough. I get it. I can almost feel the feedback, and I haven't even posted the video yet. Okay, y'all. Okay. Anyway, am I in pain right now? No, I'm not. I feel really good right now. Concerned, but concerned in that I don't want this to happen again. I know that a very large reason for me being here is stress, and a big part of that is health stress. You know, tired of being in situations like this where I'm only with the doctor for the emergency room visit or a few days in the hospital. I have to be careful with this, and they haven't changed the tape, and I don't want to. This is where I had the procedure today, where they had to cut into my artery and run a tube all the way through my artery to my heart to take pictures. It's called an arteriogram. So that was the procedure that I had today. And of course, I have to keep this on. I did have two of these, one on this hand and one on this hand. But we decided to keep this one because we don't want me to get a blood clot. which is why it has to stay covered for that 24 hours. Yeah. But it's starting to hurt a little bit. My chest doesn't hurt, but this does. Yeah. You know, the fact that I'm crocheting isn't helping the hurt, but in the long run, it'll be helping the healing. I kind of asked the nurse that I had, I forgot what I asked her. Oh, I was asking about it staying on. And then I said, I really wanted to post my YouTube channel. I wanted to do it when I got home, but I couldn't, I wasn't feeling well at that time and ended up coming back here. And she said, I said, I'm wondering if I should post it from here. And she was like, yeah. Girl, let everybody know how productive you are while you sitting up here in the hospital. And being that I'm accustomed to being awake all night anyway. Yeah. Seemed like the right thing to do. What movie was that from, y'all? Seemed like the right thing to do. Y'all gotta tell me. I'll probably end up telling you anyway. Lean on me when you're not strong. It was the part where Mr. Clark and the assistant principal went to visit the young lady's mother. And the young lady's mother had put her out. And she said it seemed like the right thing to do. It is 4 o'clock. I started crocheting about 2. And of course, I took it apart and put it back together, and took it apart and put it back together again, and took it apart and put it back together some more. And when I got here, I was like, you know what? I'm not even taking all of this one to loose, because I wanted the middle to start with a circle. That's the way I wanted mine to start. I think it looks much more attractive to have a little motif in the middle, and that's what I want to do. So that's what I'm going to do. So I left my little circle in the middle and went out from there. Just doing the moss stitch. And even though it seems like the growing phenomenon now is to do it in the round, I'm stopping each corner and moving up, because I like it when the rows are in perfect alignment. That just looks so much better to me. It was always, there'd be 3 rows in alignment where you were getting, I don't know if you can see them here, but like the yellows are meeting all the way down. And then when I kept trying to do it like everyone else was doing it, 3 rows would be like this, but then there was 1 row that was off. It would be like, let's say the yellow would be here, and then here, and then here, and here. They were jilling jacking off of each other. They weren't symmetrical. That was bothering me. That's where the OCD in me comes out. Because if it, patterns, we're really big on patterns. My OCD, my compulsion, of course, is yarn. It's also starting a project 5 times before it feels like it's right. I can start out counting 1, 2, 3, but somehow I end up counting by threes. um, Certain routines that I have, things have to be done in that way. Like when I had to stop eating the 2 days before having my colonoscopy, um, it threw me off in a lot of areas. It really did, because my routine, I get up between 5:30 and 6 o'clock in the morning. I meditate for about a half an hour, and then I go in and I fix my cup of coffee. When I fix my coffee, there it is, that's it. But when I fix my coffee, I come back to my room usually. Well, here lately, especially after being in the hospital last month and him taking me off my meds. That, yeah. And the reason it screwed me up is because um, my feet and ankles swelled up so big, and I didn't want anybody to see them. I would get on my scooter and go places and make sure my dresses were long enough to cover my feet or my pants, and make sure I wore my slides, and like I said, everything else had to cover my feet, but I couldn't. What am I doing? There we are. But I couldn't wear my tennis shoes, so I pretty much had to wear my slides. But like I said, I didn't want anybody to see my feet because they were not appealing. They were appealing, but they were not appealing to me, and I just didn't want people to see them. I did not. So, forgot what I was saying at first. See what happens when you start getting of age? Your mind decides to take brain farts whenever it wants to. You can be in the middle of talking about something, and your brain say, yeah, and that's where it sticks it. And then when you end your little podcast or whatever, it's like, oh yeah, now I remember. Oh Lord, what a day, what a day. Usually when I come to the hospital, I bring so much yarn and so many whips. And this time I told myself, if I'm there longer, I'll just tell my baby to bring me some more. But this is all I'm carrying with me right now. And it's basically scraps. It's a good way to get rid of scrap yarn. The moss stitch, granny square. It's a really good way to get rid of yarn. And for me, it's a way to keep me interested in the granny square, because it's kind of easy, especially if you crochet like I do, and sometimes you're not looking at your work. It's kind of easy to lose a stitch here or there. So every now and then I have to stop and count to make sure that I'm right where I'm supposed to be. And yeah, that keeps me alert. Yeah, that keeps me in my toes. I feel good. Da-na-na-na-na-na. Well, y'all, I have bored you all for just about an hour. But I wanted to let you know where I was, how I got here, the fact that I am still here. And if you enjoyed hanging out with me this morning, then by all means, please, please, please hit the thumbs up, subscribe, leave me a comment or two. I promise I'll get back to you. and share. Tell people. It's the only way I can grow. And I'm here because I love doing this. I like this. I like sitting here having conversation while crocheting and sipping on a large cup of coffee. I mean, when I'm home, it may not be as big of a cup, but it's essentially the same. I'm sipping on coffee and enjoying conversation with people who might look at this, just so that I feel like I brought a little bit of peace and happiness and tranquility to somebody's world. Oh, something else I wanted to express, because I don't know if she's going to watch or not. But someone else I had started following who really gave me a boost or a desire to go forth and getting my own page was Dalen Spratt. Dalen Spratt is a member of the Ghost Brothers, and I am very much into the paranormal. Um, I've been experiencing things and seeing things since, wow, as far back as I can remember. And it mm, anyway, I ran across Dalen's page, and I think the first thing I saw was the little ghost stories that he had on his page, and they're really really brief, but they were really cute, and they kind of kept you in, and it reminded me, oh yeah, I am a published author, but it reminded me of some pieces that I was writing. Um, I wrote basically erotica. I have 4 books of poetry out, and 2 of them are books of erotica. And I had to create a story in 200 or less words. And that's what these little stories that Dalen read or presented reminded me of. Those, even though they weren't erotica that Dalen did, his was horror. But it reminded me of the stories that I had written that were um, erotica. I think to have stopped and talked so much that I've done well with my little blanket. It's about time to start timing myself now. Because I want to I've dissipated 1 color, and I want to get at least 3 of them gone before I leave here a day. Yes, a day, a day, a day, a day, it's a day. Oh, I love to sing, even when I'm not showing that I can actually sing. I love doing it. You stay down here. You go over here. You're going to eventually be snipped. Just not yet. And we're going to bring you on. Sage up. Sage up. Black thorns on deck. I guess I have to go back to the genie in the hole. That'll work, but it'll be a while. When the sage is up, that's going to be up soon. See, that time, y'all caught me. I was talking to me. Ooh. Do that a lot too, y'all. That's how the work gets done. Oh, Lord, have mercy. I was really having a conversation with me, y'all. I'm lonely, not broken hearted, just lonely. Okay, so I am currently on row 19 of the moss stitch part. It is 6 minutes after 4. I'm going to see what I can do by 6 o'clock. That's an hour and 54 minutes. Let's see what I can do. I'll come back then, y'all. I love you. Love, love, love. Peace out.